ColORCHESTRA is back.
Our new season of auditions for classical musicians is now available. Performance opportunities for students, young professionals, and seasoned artists.
Perform a concerto with orchestras around the world. We have 4 orchestras this season. Perform with orchestras throughout the US, Czechia, and Egypt. New this season, opportunities for composers to have their orchestral works recorded by the Boulder Symphony Orchestra, mastered and distributed on the world's most known music streaming platforms.
Audition live from the comfort of your own home. Get live evaluations from expert judges and expand your online presence through our international internet broadcasts. Additional award and performance opportunities are also available. Visit our website for full details. Don't miss out on these wonderful opportunities to advance as a musician and perform on a world-renowned stage. We look forward to hearing your performances.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music programs. Thank you for joining us today for the continuation of ColORCHESTRA International Auditions for the soloists to be featured and perform concertos and arias with orchestras around the world. Our channel is dedicated to bringing live performances and music events to audiences everywhere, from international artists coming from around the entire globe. I'm Anna Uspinskaya. I'm a pianist joining from the suburb of Washington, D.C. And today we are presenting ColORCHESTRA Auditions. So what are the ColORCHESTRA Auditions? This season we have 4 orchestras which joined this initiative and providing for the musicians an opportunity to join the orchestras on their wonderful stages and be featured as soloists within their concert season. You see on screen there is the Western New York Chamber Orchestra. There's Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic Orchestra in Zlin in Czechia. There is Cairo Opera Orchestra located in Cairo, Egypt, and Boulder Symphony Orchestra located in Boulder, Colorado. And you see the portraits of wonderful international conductors who will be leading those concerts, and they are also joining our panel of judges and providing the immediate feedback to people who are performing on these sessions and vying for an opportunity to be featured soloists. The goal of these auditions is to encourage, to nurture, and reward musicians who are taking a very proactive stand towards the goal of sharing their art and developing their careers. It's very important for a musician who is striving to become a soloist to have an opportunity to play with an orchestra. It's a completely different experience from performing with an accompanist or performing in the chamber ensemble. They're performing with the orchestra. You get a chance to work with a large ensemble, and there's certain rules and how it works and mechanics of rehearsing and preparing, and also working with conductors. And here you get an opportunity to work with conductors who are guest conductors and leading music directors of some of the best orchestras in the world. Together with many organizations, we are providing these opportunities with the ultimate goal for musicians to carve the path towards discovering their unique artistic voice, so that their initiative is rewarded, so that they can present themselves as musicians on their own terms. For example, musicians choose their own repertoire, of course within the framework of what the orchestras are looking for, but still there is no set repertoire where everyone is playing the same piece. Here musicians can bring their own choice. They can perform standard repertoire, they can perform newly written concertos. The field is wide open, and through being able to present themselves as they are to the most true level of presenting their artistry, musicians are able to carve their own career paths as well. So let's take a quick look at what is happening during those auditions. We started on Friday, now we are into the third day of those auditions. There are 4 days this weekend, and there is one more day, all Sunday. Next Sunday, we will be hearing candidates for the performance with the Cairo Opera Orchestra. In each session, we have our distinguished members of judges panel listen and observe the performances of each candidate, and after each of the performance we bring the judges on screen for the immediate feedback. And I want to remind everyone, these are live auditions. These are not pre-recorded videos. What's happening right now, and myself and all the performance and the judges' comments are happening in real time. And on this broadcast studio, we bring musicians from all over the world, and they're performing in their own space. Some perform from the concert hall, some perform from studios, even from their homes. So the environment is very different for each musician, and each artist has an opportunity to choose their own most comfortable environment. By the way, it saves a lot of money when traveling. Now, what you see on the screen also, the portraits of all candidates, as well as the pictures of the orchestras and pictures of the concert halls where those orchestras perform, and of course the portraits of the conductors. ColORCHESTRA auditions are organized by several companies with support of many others. ArtistVenture, Sound Espressivo, Progressive Musicians, and Virtual Concert Halls are leading the organization in collaboration with Western New York Chamber Orchestra, Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic, Cairo Opera Orchestra, Boulder Symphony Orchestra, and of course with the support with dozens and dozens of organizations dedicated to promoting and to furthering music in the world. You see on the screen many logos of wonderful supporters, and behind each logo is an organization, and behind each organization is many wonderful people, our collaborators, who add their own expertise, their time, effort, and of course resources too, in order to host those auditions, in order to provide the opportunities, and in order to provide additional awards as well. And today participants from many countries are seeking also this immediate guidance from the judges. As I mentioned before, the judges will be on screen after each performance, and they'll share their immediate feedback, and that is extremely important for artists to know how their performance was perceived in real time by the audience and by fellow experts. The Sound Espressivo Global Competition is an online live-streamed competition which combines competitive and live performance in one. Progressive Musicians is an organization which organizes many various competitions, concerts, as well as concerts in very prestigious venues such as Carnegie Hall. Virtual Concert Halls is the internet TV broadcaster providing artists with a virtual stage. It's all set and ready for you to step on it and try it out and see if it helps you with your goals to reach audiences. ArtistVenture is focused on providing performance opportunities for musicians in conventional halls, in concert halls in Europe, Asia, and beyond, organizing concert tours in various countries, and performances in prestigious halls, as well as master classes, seminars, and festivals and other events which are focused on fostering more connection and more possibilities for music to be delivered, to be performed, and to be heard. And here's a quick trailer to show us what we do.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.
of course, we can't wait to hear great music, but I will take a quick moment also to mention additional awards. There are season awards. Of course, today everyone is performing their concertos with primary goal to win the spotlight and have an opportunity to be featured as a soloist with one of the four orchestras. However, everyone who is performing today and everyone who is applying for these auditions is also entered in the pool of candidates to receive additional awards, which are given throughout the season. And among those are full scholarships to attend festivals, seminars, workshops all over the world, in the United States, in Europe, and in Asia, to join concert tours in various countries. Even for more seasoned musicians, there are 3 awards which are awarding an opportunity to go to Italy, make a professional recording of an album, have it mastered, published, and distributed on all major audio platforms. There are additional opportunities for performances in various settings. There are spotlight videos which are being produced for artists so that it could help them furthering their career, and many other awards. We are very grateful for all the sponsors who are sponsoring this. There are also cash awards, who are sponsoring these opportunities and this very valuable provide these very valuable services for musicians. Thank you very much for your support, and of course I would like to encourage everyone to look at the awards and the awards tab on all of our websites. Visit virtualconcerthalls.com, soundespressivocompetition.com, progressivemusicians.com, and of course ColORCHESTRA.com, and there you can find out a lot more information and apply to our auditions, be part of this movement, be part of this musicians fair. And now it's time for me to thank our wonderful judges who had been working really hard. These auditions are very tough to judge. Everyone is so well prepared, and musicians are really of extraordinary talent and level. But I want to thank every one of the judges you see on the screen. They're judging various sessions, and throughout the day you get to know them. These are wonderful musicians with international careers, and they're very supportive. They're here to help you grow and achieve what you set out to achieve. And with that, I would like to invite on stage the judge for this session, Gevorg Sargsyan, who is a wonderful conductor, and he will be the conductor of the concert scheduled with the Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic in Zlin, Czechia. Hailed as one of the most inspiring artists of his generation, and I attest that is absolutely true. Gevorg, thank you so much for joining us. You're based in Singapore, but you're everywhere. It's a real task to catch you, unless you're at the airport or on the airplane on the way to or from another performance as a guest conductor all over the world. You're a winner of Sir George Solti Award, one of the most prestigious awards for conductors. You're also a wonderful cellist and an extraordinary supportive artist and musician. And you've performed with just the score of the orchestras. I'm not going to even start naming them. And you're also the director of the Medicine Academy of Music and the string orchestra, and you're the artistic director of the music hubs in the Ministry of Culture of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Which country are you in, Gevorg, now?
I am. Hi, hello everyone. Hi, Anna. This is very generous. I am usually just saying I'm a conductor, and currently I'm in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh. It's quite a late evening here.
Okay.
So we're looking forward for wonderful music to hear.
And thank you very much for joining these auditions and for supporting them for the second season now. So with this, we will be inviting the candidates to take the stage and present their concertos. We'll start the session with Zachary Weiner, pianist, who will be performing the Bartók Piano Concerto No. 3 in E major in 3 movements. First movement, Allegretto. Second, Adagio Religioso, and third, Allegro Vivace. Zachary, this virtual stage is all yours. Take it away. performance. Thank you for bringing Bartok Concerto. You don't hear that piece every day, and partially because it's just so really hard. Thank you. I'll pass the baton to Georg Sargsyan. Georg, it's for you.
So hi, thank you so much. Yes, it's exactly what Anna said. You don't hear this every day, but maybe that's exactly why every time we hear it, it's amazing, right? Look, I will be honest. This is the first time I'm hearing the concerto with the piano alone. I mean, I'm not a pianist, so I don't have this chance. I come from the conducting world and from the orchestra part, so I was looking more into not into like how do you play that note, but rather how do you envisioning this playing together with orchestra. What I was very impressed is obviously the main thing of Bartok is the articulation, and I guess you have done amazing work, studied maybe even a whole research about it, because it was very well, pun intended, articulated. Everywhere, because I have a habit of looking at a score while I'm listening to, and whenever I glance to the articulation, it was just to the point. And so were dynamics. In the second movement, when there is this chords, somewhere in the middle of the second movement, when you're playing the chords, and I heard you trying to, or not trying, but actually highlighting the note that is spoiling the chord, the one that makes it a bit sometimes. I wanted to ask, was that intentional, or did this just happen, or it wasn't?
Yeah, it's intentional. Yeah.
And is it going back to Bartok being, ethnomusicologist and finding the tunes all over Europe and having that, it's Bartok harmonies, isn't it?
Yes.
So is that so? It was intentional. I see. One another thing I was very aware of, because it's something that conductors we always suffer when soloists run out of control, is your control over where you have triplets and then sixlets and then tenlets. How in English triplets, yeah. You were pretty much in control, even though there was no orchestra support, which makes your job even more difficult, I believe.
Yeah.
But it's very apparent that you are fully aware of the music. You are pretty much innate. One surprising place was on the third movement when, if I'm not wrong, that place called Presto, where it actually sounds slower than the previous part.
Yeah.
And this is one of those tricks, isn't it? It's a bit of a trap for a performer. Because, from Allegro to Presto, it should sound, faster, but it sounds slower. But yeah,
I think Presto is actually Bartok didn't write that. It was finished later, and I think that was written by the student who finished it. And a later edition actually changes the metronome marking that goes there by like 30 metronome points or something like that.
So this is exactly the answer I was looking for. So you're going with the metronome mark instead of Presto, Allegro, Vivace, whatever. The metronome mark. Okay, yeah, I agree. In some point, this is the much better and clearer indication than Presto. And the only thing, in my opinion, was that from your playing, it was almost apparent that from here, it's no longer Bartok. It's like you wanted kind of say it, But with all this, I mean, this was, if not the last or one of the last works of him, right, of Bartok. He already was, quite sick when he was playing. So yeah, these are the comments. It's not like critique or praising. It's more like this is a matter of fact. You are at the level that we're talking about a lot more than just technique, colors, or whatever. So yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for giving this opportunity to hear solo piano without the orchestra. There are lots of new things I heard today. So yeah, back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Zachary, do you have any questions for Georg?
No, thank you very much.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
I'm a pianist here. I'm not a judge for those auditions, but sometimes as pianist to pianist, I want to share a few things. You can scratch it because it has no bearing on your success in these auditions. I was just wondering if there is I see it's just like Georg said, when you play by yourself without the orchestra, the conductor suddenly discovers lots of things which get sort of drowned by the orchestra. But in this concerto, I think you have and you have the technique, the facility, and the possibility to keep the piano part transparent and very clearly heard throughout, because the instrumentation of this concerto is done in such a way that the piano is kept in a different register almost the entire time. I don't know if you noticed that. So it's a very clever way of positioning the piano and bringing out. Bartok is a genius, that's for sure. So he brings out both strengths of the piano, the ability to imitate the singing tone, like in the second movement, chorale, and also the ability of the piano to penetrate like a spear with almost percussive sound. So I was wondering if you avoided that percussiveness of the sound on purpose.
No, I think it has a time and a place. I think sometimes you want a chorale and you want a more singing tone, and sometimes you want the sharper articulation. So I'm definitely conscious of it, but not sort of writ large.
Yeah, there's of course different opinions on that, and some people swear by not spoiling Bartok with Prokofiev,
Right.
and while other people swear by, bringing up the similarity between the two composers. And no matter which camp you're in, I think the end result of keeping the piano sharply in focus throughout the concerto can be aided with a bit more sharpness of your articulation. The articulation is meticulous, spectacular. What I was looking for is exactly what you're doing with more intensity. It almost felt like it's all there, but when you play with the orchestra, there's a whole bunch of sound coming at you. So kind of to penetrate through that texture. I don't know if you played that concerto with the orchestra before, have you?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
And to me, it was a surprise when I first heard myself play with the orchestra. I thought I played it well, but it sounded all muffled because the orchestra just completely killed my articulation. Yeah. I thought I was being very articulate. So I don't know if you experienced a similar effect. So that's just one thing. And the other one, thought I had is the pedaling in Bartok is always a huge challenge. Do you pedal? Do you not pedal? And there's so much dryness in the air where it's very tempting not to pedal. But I was wondering if you explored percussive pedaling, where you use the pedal almost as a accentuation, just to open the dampers to give it more echo.
Yeah, in some spots, but I could definitely do more of that. Yeah.
I think in the climaxes, maybe you could do more. I mean, it'll kill your foot, but sometimes it's worth it in the climatic parts. And the last thing I was wondering if you might want to explore the range. You have really wonderful voicing everywhere. There's so much polyphony there, and that fugue is just a killer. And you did an extraordinary job in the third movement. So and you voiced everything really well. What I was looking for is, there's so much verticality in Bartok, and it's all spiky bits and pieces of everything, but there are places where he writes longer stretches of climaxes, and in those climaxes, I don't know, to me that's always a discovery. He goes in a wide range usually, so that's where the hands spread out, and that's where I do what when I was a student my teachers called a steel pinky. So it just brings out so much more piercing sound on the tops and booming sound on the bottom, and you definitely have facility for that. It's a tough technique to really get through the instrument and the extremes of it, and also not to lose the middle part. So and especially with the jumps, but I think just experiment with it, and if you don't like it, throw it in the garbage. I won't take it personally. Okay, so any closing thoughts, Georg? Any questions from you, Zachary?
Zachary, anything? Okay. No, I don't have much, except from Anna's comments. I also quite learn a few things, and yeah, this is amazing that we all learn from each other. We can be on the side of judges and whatever, but it's a constant learning across everybody. So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of doing it in the real time and being able to have a discussion. Anything anyone wants to add, Zachary? It's your moment to talk with us.
No, thank you for listening to Bar Talk, and thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you very, very much for bringing this. Yeah, bravo. Thank you. Thank you, Zachary, for bringing the Bartok Concerto No. 3, one of the last pieces Bartok ever wrote. He didn't quite even finish it. Great piece, very difficult one to perform. We'll be moving on to our next candidate, and we'll be welcoming on the virtual stage Marcio Candido, violinist, with a sing-song, introduction, and rondo capriccioso. Very big contrast to Bartok. Welcome, Marcio. Virtual stage is all yours. We can't wait to hear you. Thank you, Marcio. This is one of my favorite violin pieces, not just to listen to play with violin, it's just so fiery. Georg, to you.
To me, Marcel, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Is the echo coming from me?
Let's see.
No. Okay.
No.
It comes from Mario's mic. All right. Look, what I want to talk about more is not just like, oh, is it like this? Is it like that? Is it like, obviously you know the piece very well. You played this many times probably. And what I want to ask is more like, what is your interpretation of it in not only on this piece? There is this common two fronts of people that some people say you must interpret exactly as composer said. You cannot add anything of yours. And then there is another bunch of people that say, well, then everybody will be completely same. So I have my own say to perform. So I will have to add my own interpretation to the piece. So which part you belong to? Sorry, I think Marcio is muted. Sorry, yeah. Can you please one more time? You were muted.
Sure. All right. Well, I believe it's a mix of personal input, right, and what the composer is trying to convey. I usually am in favor of being a servant of the music rather than other way around, and that's my ultimate goal. Of course, we have to put our little, sauce in it, right? We have the ingredients, but then we can mix it and make something that calls also for our personality, temperament, identity, and that's what I usually look for.
Fair enough. Thanks for that. And in that sense, you see, I like it in a discussion manner, where we also think about this piece is written by Saint-Saëns for Sarasate. Now, both are composers. Sarasate is not only violinist but also a composer. Saint-Saëns is a composer, and now whose personality you want to employ here, Sarasate's or Saint-Saëns'?
Well, that's a tricky question, right?
Because of tricky people.
Yeah, right. And Sarasate was the greatest virtuoso of Saint-Saëns' time, right? And of course, he wrote that for him. After thinking that, well, this instead of being part of the first concerto, I'm going to write this as a piece, right? A dedicated piece. Yeah. But I think it's answering that question. I think it's a combination, right? It's a combination of things, and of course we have to try to. In a way, be inspired and emulate Sarasate's fiery and virtuosic playing, right? Pretty much like that. But also, you see that, especially, for instance, the beginning, that I find that so melancholic, right? That it's really hard not to think of maybe not being Sarasate too much, right? And just trying to absorb that sadness, right? And then come in a retake, maybe, of course, of the ronda, right? Very fiery, very virtuosic. So,
sounds good. See, that's what I'm saying. You know the piece so well; it's almost on a level of academic research. I mean, you know the details. You know all those colors and shapes and all that. So while performing with the orchestra. Now let's think about, because you're playing without piano accompaniment, obviously you do know what's going on around you, which instruments are playing and what instruments to listen to. Since it was not around you, you were presenting the violin part. I want to talk about a little bit of an echoing sound. Like, do you see it passing to the orchestra sometimes and taking it from orchestra, or is it more like an independent parts to you?
Although the
When they
texture of Yeah, although the texture of the piece is nothing like a Mendelssohn concerto, Brahms concerto, that is really like a unified idea, right? But even though I believe that I would think that as a big chamber music collaboration, because absolutely sometimes I'm displaying some technical things, right? Especially the end of the rondo, right? While the orchestra has the tune and the other moments are like that, right? So I think I really have to be mindful to dialogue with that.
Okay. Okay. So you see, I'm really glad we are doing it in this way. And of course, I can say, there are certain things that I personally like more and some personally like less, but it's not relevant, to be honest. What is relevant is what is the story, what is that you are bringing to the table with your playing. Of course, some technical mishaps here and there. And here, what I can recommend as a conductor myself, to never give it away to the audience. Sometimes it happens, and your facial expression reflects it. It's a very difficult to stop it from happening. I know it myself, and this is secretly it's one of the reasons why I become a conductor. So my facial expression is not to the public.
I was just thinking that exact thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll turn my back to the audience so only the musicians can see.
until they invented all these cameras and from every angle they shoot you, and I was like, gosh. So but yeah, this is something that happens all the time. Scratchy sounds and sounds of pizzicato on an open string that shouldn't be there. It sounds all the time in real life as well. So those things, I don't really look at them from a negative perspective. I'm just putting it as a friend to friends that if it happens, at least don't give it away on your face. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right. I guess here am I. So thank you, Marcio. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I also have to add one thing, that your origin, your ethnic belonging to Brazil, if I'm not wrong, right? To Latin America,
Yes.
you have there is that color and shape of it in your playing, which is an amazing thing. I like it when people have their own ethnic, DNA into the music somehow put in. So good, good to hear
Yeah,
that.
that's
Thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, your work very much. And Marcio, if you have any questions for your work, please ask.
Sure, no. I think it was an honor to participate here, and thank you so much for the feedback. And,
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, well, you got the feedback which matters here. Mine doesn't. I'm not judging, and I'm not a string player. I'm not a conductor of this orchestra. But I just wanted to share just a few small things which came to mind while you were playing. For one is this piece is so exposed, whether you play it with the piano or you play it with the orchestra. It's written for the violin to shine and for the violinist to dominate. There are a few bursts of the tutti, of course, in there, but for the most part, violin is the leader. So I was going to suggest to look for the drive in the piece, where you're going to take basically the bull by the horns and drive the piece. Whether it doesn't only apply to dramatic moments, also in the lyrical moments, you can, I think, be more assertive. Your playing is so beautiful, but you can, if it's possible. It's very difficult as a performer myself. I know it's very difficult to put behind all the self-doubt and to say, okay, whatever I'm doing right now on stage is the best there is in the world. Why? Simply because that's me who is doing it. Anyone else who can do it better on stage right now than me? Nobody. I'm on stage. So this kind of self-talk, come up with some things which, like Georg said, allow you to overlook and just disregard anything that happens you dislike, and you're going to take it to the practice room and clean up those few passages where things happen. That's totally not a problem. What happens, bigger problem is when we get affected by little failures on the way and then start self-doubting. So the phrasing and the drive in the music becomes less assertive. For a while, you caught up really well after those little mishaps here and there. But to be like a train or boat which goes forward no matter what obstacles it encounters, that's a very challenging thing. But the orchestras usually appreciate it very much. Georg, tell me if I'm wrong.
Indeed.
Yeah,
That's
because yeah, because little mishaps on stage happen to the greatest artists. What you hear on their recordings is super edited. Everything accidental is taken out of there. If you go to the live recording, I'm sure you've gone to tons, and something happens. So, and it's not just a cover up; it's that determination to go through and deliver every note to the fullest, the way you prepared, the way you planned, and the way you feel like doing at that moment on stage. So that's my only little comment in there.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Well, we will be saying goodbye to Marcio and beautiful music by Sensong, and inviting on stage the next candidate, Xiao-Ru Lin, pianist, who will be performing a Liszt Piano Concerto No. 2 in A major. The concerto is written in 6 movements, or you can say 5-6 movements. They all go one after another, attacca, which means without any stopping and interruptions. It's a basically one movement concerto, which is comprised of chapters. And looking forward very much to this performance. Xiao-Ru, the stage is all yours. Please. Wow, congratulations, Xiao-Ru. You played this concerto twice in less than 24 hours. That's an achievement in itself. I would need to take a longer break, honestly. Okay, now to Georg.
Thank you, Xiao-Ru. I heard this concerto from you first time. I didn't hear it 24 hours ago. It is very powerful, of course. It is, I mean, it's Liszt, right? It's all the techniques and all these things done. What I wonder is that 24 hours ago when you played it, what do you think? Was it any different, or what did you manage to do it same way? What do you think?
So, first of all, I have actually properly more energy. I have more energy today because yesterday I was here to do all the setup myself. Two pianos, desk, very long Ethernet wires, and put out all the marking that I have to. We are doing something very important inside, the school's concert hall, and
Right.
and actually 3 days ago we had a flood in this concert hall, so I was kind of.
Oh, wow.
Like
Where are
this.
you located?
I'm in Oklahoma.
Oh, we heard about floods in Oklahoma. Yeah.
No, so it's like for me, it's like kind of, it's my. I was super anxious about whether I get to play what I have been working on, and
Right. I can
after
imagine
yesterday's
that.
performance, I feel I should just play. I mean, yesterday I was even thinking of, we have the ceiling is super tall and so many echoes, and I was thinking, how fast do I want so that it's not blurred? Because it's too
Right.
fast, and all the expression will half of them will be like mixing together, and people probably cannot get where I start my phrase and where is the end of my phrase. I was thinking that, and somehow that makes more mistake.
No, you see,
And
because we are not listening to criticize. I think the difference is that no one is listening to see where is the mistakes. It's a massively different approach we have. What we are listening to is how does this blend with an orchestra, and especially a massive piece like Liszt like that. And here is where I also need to ask to thank your collaborative pianist, your accompanist was amazing.
Yes,
What I
bravo.
bravo.
where I think
What I really like, please, yes. What I really like is that there are certain parts of this concerto that there is solo instrument in the orchestra. Clarinet with the woodwinds in the beginning, and then there is a solo cello, right? And I could almost hear that in accompaniment parts, which with all the echoing thing was quite an achievement. But here I also have to mention, how do you play during those times? You see, Liszt was in that whole range of composers and performers during that time that were all virtuosos. Paganini, Liszt, Sarasate. They are all roughly of the same generation, right? And there was a lot of emphasis on the technical part of everything, but that far from being the only thing. I mean, and there's a lot of deep, there's just one melody throughout. People say this concerto is 6 movements, or I don't know how many movements. Honestly, to me, it's one movement. It's one movement throughout, with some parts that are not even movements, but rather, sections of the concerto. And what I like is that you kind of managed to sew them together into one. That was important. Coming back to the point where orchestra has very gentle parts and there's solo instruments, this is where I believe you really need to transform into a accompanist instead of a soloist, which is mentally a difficult thing to do. But when you play with a real orchestra, this will become critical. I mean, this will become a part of the whole pattern of the colors and mosaic of sounds. I will not comment much on a pedal because of the echoing sound. I will probably leave Anna to make some comments about that, because sometimes I think it's pedal, but then it might be the mics. So yeah, I rather not to go there. But maybe because of that articulation not always been precise to me. But again, it can be just a little bit of a technical thing. With all the challenges in your location, with the flood, with I don't know, many other things, bravo to overcome all that. And I'm very happy that I had an opportunity to listen to you. Thank you so much, Xiao-Ru.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Georg. And Xiao-Ru, do you have any questions for Georg?
Yes.
Please.
So this piece is kind of, for me, one of the most tricky part is like so many different tempo marking, and sometimes we switch from 6/8 to 4/4.
Yep.
So for example, here's a part I'm doing. So some people, they kind of take those 2/2 to the 4/4. But I
Yep.
wonder if Liszt really wants to be 2/2. Do we play that way? So I kind of decide, okay, I'll play 4/4. So the 6/8, the two, that pulse, I'll take it into 4/4. But I wonder how that goes to, how does that work to the audience? And there are also, I think, near the very end, there's kind of, un poco più mosso. He wrote it 2 times. One is in, when I'm doing solo, after my busy 16 note. My busy 16 notes, it's written poco più mosso. Many
Yep.
recording out there was kind of going to 180 right away from the march tempo. And
Very
after
much so,
that,
yeah.
actually, there is a solo section. It's also like telling you to be even faster than the previous section. And then after that, we have the coda, and it started just being faster again. And then later we have a the stretto and it's put, accelerando in quotation mark. So what's your thought?
Yeah.
The
Well,
way I
no,
play,
it's not about good or bad or anything. To me, these kind of things, your questions are begging for more questions, to be honest. First of all, you said, is this what Liszt wanted? Is that what you want to show? Is that what you are looking for? Are you looking for to see what Liszt wanted so you can show that? If yes, then I think what Liszt wanted is this chaos of thoughts.
like
What
build up
Liszt
to
wanted
the
is, if Liszt was living our days, he will probably do it so people can move away from their phones during the performance, so they can actually, because I think he was looking for the effect of what's going on. What's going on? I suspect that's one of the reasons. Another thing is that when you mention how to convey to the audience, right? Just the way it is. You have to. It's a strong word, have to, but I would advise to brief according to what music you will play, not what you are playing now, but what you are going to change with. Change your breath, your physical breath. It will change the approach. It will change even how do you touch down in that zone, how touch down there and you continue in that new from 2/2 to 6/8. And finally, it depends on the tempo as well. In 2/2 and 6/8 can be a straight through that audience will not even hear any difference in certain context, right? In this case, it's an evolving melody that Liszt has, showcased with a clarinet at the very beginning. And then that same melody has, it evolves, it develops, and then it gets reshaped and all that. But it's the same melody. So it's not even a variation of a melody. It's the same melody with some different shapes along the way. What other question you have? And to me, it was how I see it is a story that develops. Story, about something that develops. So, and with a change of the breath. Did I answer your question?
yes.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Georg, for your comments, and thank you, Xiao-Ru, for bringing the concerto and for your questions. Yeah, I wanted to share a couple of small comments, and my comments don't matter at all on the results of these auditions. I'm not on the judges panel, but as a pianist, I just thought I'd share a few things for you to think about. But if you don't agree, it doesn't sit well with you, just disregard it. Regarding the questions, and just like Georg said, your questions tend to be of the kind which actually provoke more questions. There's an important message in there, which I did hear in your playing, the uncertainty which you have about how should it be done. It does show in your playing, and that's a good thing, because that means what you communicate resonates with people who hear you quite adequately. But I understand you're being not quite comfortable being in that position when you're already performing and you're not certain what it is the right thing to do. And I think the question, the way you present it to yourself and to others, maybe is coming from the angle which you already exhausted the possibilities in there. What is the right way to play this? Maybe you need to go beyond that and look for another question. What sounds good? Which may not always be literally correct, or maybe may even provoke argument from someone who will disagree. And how to get there, there's a very simple path, which I think many of my colleagues share, the practicing path. When we get to the point, especially with Liszt, where music is very experimental, so things sometimes are very simple in terms of what to do to get where you want to get. Liszt music is experimental, so to really make it yours, you need to experiment. It's just that simple. The more you experiment with 3 6 equals 2 2, 3 6 equals 4 4, or whatever other versions of it you come up with, I think you just need to walk that walk and play it this way, play it that way, record yourself, or play it for someone whose opinion you trust, who supports you as an artist. Bounce those ideas against your own perception, against perception of others, and you don't even know what results you come up with in the end. But from my experience, walking that path gives me that certainty you're seeking, because after experimenting 10 different ways, not theoretically, mentally imagining, is this right or not, but actually physically playing it that way. Playing it, recording it, polishing the version, throwing it away, polishing another version, throwing it away, polishing another one, especially with music by Liszt, where things are just so experimental. He was an experimentator on the piano and with the orchestra, one of the major people in that regard. In the end, something happens. You don't know where you will be at the beginning of that journey, but as you go through that journey, something gets sharpened and something gets deeper absorbed by an artist. And I'm not the only one who does that. It works for certain types of music, like Liszt music. Not for all, but here, even going to extremes and experimenting with most peripheral extreme versions of your idea is not forbidden. And once you learn the piece, it's not going to destroy your technique, it's not going to destroy your accuracy, it's not going to damage anything, it's just going to enrich it with that experience. That's my advice. Okay, so if there is anything else to share, please do now.
I really appreciate, ColORCHESTRA provide me opportunity to play and audition for professional orchestras.
And thank you for bringing the concerto, for solving all the flood problems, and for being with us today. So we'll be saying goodbye to Xiao-Ru Lin, a pianist who played the entire Liszt Concerto No. 2 in A major, and welcoming on stage the final performer of this session, Kana Funayama, a marimba player, and the piece which will be presented is by Kevin Potts, Marimba Concerto in 3 movements, and those movements are titled in English. So the first movement, Terrific Sun on the Brink, flowing. Second movement, Into the Quick of Losses, broad and deliberate. And the third movement, logarithms, exponents, and the dumbest of metaphors, presto con moto, con troppo. So, and again, Kevin Potts, Marimba Concerto, Kana Funayama, the stage is all yours.
Bravo. Hi, I'm James. I'm finishing this broadcast, and that was just lovely here. Lovely to hear you, and so exciting and fun. And I'm going to turn it over to Gevorg right now.
You turn it to me. What can I say? I think I was blown. Thank you, Kana. Thank you so much. I was blown away by your dynamics. To be honest, I mean, I will not. I will not lie. I heard this piece first time, and I understand that without orchestra, it doesn't really sound complete. But I did my homework. I understand a little bit more about the piece a couple of days before today because I want to prepare as well. And my understanding is that composer wanted it to be inspired by Mozart concerto. So that's probably where you also took it over, and it was really nice. I could almost hear the orchestra, although I didn't have a chance to see the score. Look, kind of what I really love is your control over the instrument in a not in a restricting way, but it's almost you make it sing, where you have that amazing pianos and diminuendos, and I understand it's not an easy thing. Technically, it's quite a tough thing to do. But at the same time, I think it was in the second movement when you had that almost like octaves playing, quite forte and all. So what I wanted to understand is more of how is this interacting with orchestra. My feeling was that you were focused on the instrument, but I'm not sure if you are imagining orchestra around you doing certain things, playing. What's your take about it? What's your interpretation of that synergy between soloist and orchestra? How do you imagine it?
Yeah. So this piece, I think it's written like for solo marimba, but solo marimba also has orchestra part, like accompanying part. So I always try to bring my solo and try to blend with the orchestra when I have those parts.
Yeah. More like a dialogue. It's more like a dialogue. Okay. And then that begs another question is because the orchestra is mostly accompanying, and then when orchestra is taking tutti and you are accompanying, isn't it just black and white? How about more colors?
Right.
Because you know what I mean? And that's where your diminuendos and many other things come. Do you see that the parts you play are connected or they are more separate from each other?
I think it's connected. So especially like first movement and third movement, I have a lot of 16 notes or 8 notes. But orchestra is playing longer melody that I'm creating with my 16 notes. So it's like
yeah. It's more like a chase and all. Well, it's very, very colorful piece, very, very colorful piece. I am a very big fan of contemporary music. I mean, with the living composers. I love working with new music. It doesn't mean that I don't like Mozart, but whenever there is a chance to be, performing new compositions, I'm always volunteering my time. It's something that I really like. It's personally, and maybe that's why I end up in Saudi Arabia, where everything is new and first time. So yeah, but in terms of technique, I will not comment much. I'm not a percussionist myself. I work with orchestras and all. And what I like about percussionists is when they don't hit their instrument when they play it, when they make it sing, when they make it, phrasings, and very careful about the revive, how you call it, the echoing. So in that sense, I believe you really exceeded my expectations. That was very beautiful. In terms of artistry, you are clearly there. You are in control of the whole process, not only just instrument, but what's going on around you. So my compliments. That's about it. I guess I am really thankful for the opportunity to hear you, to listen to you, and to know this music as well.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
Yes, bravo. Great to hear you. Did you have any other questions you'd like to ask or anything you want to say?
It's so hot.
You get a workout with this piece. I always admire the mallet percussionists. playing, multiple instruments or even just one big instrument. I mean, it's like you have to like do ballet back there to like coordinate all the stick changes and the twirls, get the sticks go, and and have everything set in the right place. I mean, it's really a choreographed event, and it was really fun watching you do that. So, bravo, great to hear you. With that, that concludes our auditions for this group here. This is group 9, and we have been in auditions for the Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic in Czechia. And stay tuned, because in 50 minutes we are back on again for session 10, auditions for the Western New York Chamber Orchestra. And 50 minutes. Wow, we have a lot of great music and a lot of short amount of time here, but it's been an amazing weekend hearing all these music again. I'd like to bring Gevorg back on here for a second, just to say thank you for all of your time and expertise and wisdom here. I mean, it's just such a valuable thing.
Thanks for organizing all the show very smooth and bringing all these amazing musicians to our attention. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, there's so much wisdom shared here, and on many other broadcasts we have Gevorg again later this evening. I think, or maybe we don't. I don't know. But we have you all weekend. We have so many people sharing wisdom, and it's just great here. And in addition to all the music, so we are auditioning for the orchestra in Czechia, the Western New York Chamber Orchestra. And later next weekend, we will be auditioning for the Cairo Opera Orchestra in Cairo, Egypt. And then later this season, hearing auditions for the Boulder Symphony in Colorado. So those are just 4 of the orchestras that we currently have going for the ColORCHESTRA auditions. We also have auditions open and available now to perform at Carnegie Hall. And those auditions, I believe the deadline is February 15th to play a solo at Carnegie Hall or to play a concerto with the New York Chamber Players. Not only that, but we also have applications for new compositions. Have your composition premiered by the New York Chamber Players as well. And there's a lot of great things going on this season. And those auditions, apply by February 15th. And those applications can be found on the Progressive Musicians website at progressivemusicians.com and soundespressivo.com. And we're on all of the socials as well as streaming here on all these platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, and we are, all of them, Alignable, LinkedIn, Twitch, all of them, we're there, and you can message us on there. You can watch all of our streams there, including these auditions and our daily broadcasts. We do a lot here. We have a lot of fun with music and education and getting to know people, and we have a lot of supporters here too. Look at that. They just don't fit on the screen anymore. We're going to have to figure that out and split screens or do them a little more intimately, but we couldn't do it without all these companies' support and with all the individuals as well. Thank you, everybody, for all that you do to make great music possible, including a shout out to all private teachers who just go the extra mile and don't necessarily get paid for it to help ensure their students' best educations, and the families that overextend themselves paying for all of this education. It really takes a village here, and it goes way past our sponsors. It goes to the private teachers and the families and all of their sponsors that support and nurture the arts. So thank you very much. And another thank you. We have an amazing team behind the scenes here, and there they are, their faces, and we have Jennifer and Ante and Nathan back there working tech, and Fader as well has been doing a lot of tech checks, and we couldn't do this without our team flipping switches and keeping track of people all the time and just getting everyone to the right place on time and throwing it up online and all that. So thank you. And I am rambling here. So with that, I'm going to stop here and send us on a break before we have to go to the next broadcast. So I'm James Welch here for Virtual Concert Halls and ColORCHESTRA. Everybody have a great afternoon. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, check this out. I know you have always dreamed of performing in Carnegie Hall, so I think this 2023 to 2024 season at Sound Espressivo would be perfect for you. As a platform, we host live online auditions so you can share your music with the entire world. Then we send you to incredible in-person venues like Carnegie Hall so you can perform solo, as a duo, as an ensemble, and with orchestra. This year we have a total of 4 gala events at Carnegie Hall, as well as 4 different opportunities to perform with orchestras in the US, in the Czech Republic, and even in Egypt. We want to help you fulfill your musical dreams. Go to soundespressivocompetition.com to check out our season and to apply.